All right, I think we should be Facebook Live as well. So, well, welcome. I know we have already some people on our conference. We're super excited to show you what we're about to show you. This is our very first event. Thank you all for coming. I know little by little we'll start getting a good group to join us. This is our bounce back event. It is dedicated, from women to women. Our hope here is to help you cope, to help you plan ahead, to help you understand that you're not the only one. So by you knowing that there is many of us here that are going through the same thing, you should know that we're a community of human beings who want nothing but the best for all of you. And we're here to help. So you'll get to hear from amazing speakers today. These are all professional women who have, in one way or another, have been helping the community for many years. And with this event and this pandemic, it's no different. We are going to rise above, and we're going to make sure that everybody gets help the way they should be getting helped. Feel free at the end of this session, after our speakers come on, we're going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A. So if you have a question, you can either put it on the chat if you are joining us via GoToMeeting. If you are on Facebook Live, feel free to share this with all the women that you know. Feel free to share this amazing event. I know some of you are already coming to join us. Thank you so much. Hopefully this is of great service. So if you share this with your friends, make sure that you let them know. Stay on the whole course. We're gonna have actually 5 amazing speakers that you're gonna get to hear from and you're gonna get to learn from, all in their specialties. So let's get ready to rumble. The first thing is first, we want to know what's going on. What's the latest? What's going on with this once in a lifetime situation? What I can tell you is that I've been involved in many other situations in the past. I've been involved in situations where we have to figure out what to do. We have to figure out what changes to make. I've never been involved in one situation that requires us to have 2 major problems together. And this is what we're facing today. We're not only facing an economic distress with our finances, we are forced to stay home. We are forced to reduce our income and our ways to make money and support our families. We're also forced to worry because nothing else on TV is positive unless you get Netflix or something like that. But in the meantime, we're having all this what ifs. What's gonna happen? We don't know what's happening. We don't know what to do. And so what we want to come together and do, especially for the women, and guys, I know there's a lot of you guys that are going to be watching, but I want to make sure that we're not leaving you behind. We're actually trying to help you reinforce and give strength to your spouse or to your moms or to your sisters or to your grandmothers. And with that said, we're going to help them come out of this. We're going to do this every other week, where we come together as a group of women, professional women, so you guys know that we're here to help. So with all further ado, I want to introduce to you our first subject. Our first subject is a person who has a proven track record to help in the mental health department. She is absolutely, I'm looking forward to what she's about to say. Proven, she's a public speaker. She is an advocate for violence, and I'll let her tell you everything about what she does. But none other than Roxana Damas. Thank you so much for being here, Roxana. We can't wait to hear from you. So I am going to make Roxana really quick a presenter because she has some great information for you. Hang on a second, Roxana.
I'll get started while you do that. Hello, everyone. My name is Roxana Damas. Thank you so much, Faride, for having me. I am a UN Empower Women Champion for Change, and I also work in the consulting field, and I wear many, many different hats. I am not a therapist by trade, but funny enough, I have been able to work with so many therapists and people in the mental health and also first responders for across the country and around the world. Can everybody hear me okay? I feel a little bit of an echo there, so just want to make sure that we are you able to see my screen now? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Let me get to the slideshow here. All right, so let me see if I can see the screen here while I'm talking to you all. Great. So part of my work has been to train specifically around violence prevention and working in humanitarian crisis, as well as anything that has been places of war and trauma. So I do train people across the state and the country around these topics. So today, when Faride mentioned that this was happening, I said, you know, I need to be a part of this. I have been actually very not active on the topic as much because I wanted to ensure that I am taking my time with the information I'm sharing, because people are about to be very, very tired. If you've never worked a humanitarian crisis, if you've never really been through something like Faride just mentioned about being multiple factors that are impacting our lives, there's a lot that's about to start draining our lives. We're already feeling it, but it could be so much more. So I've been very cautious to keep going in that direction. And actually, I'm not doing a lot of presentations. So thank you for inviting me to this one. You kind of forced me to the space, but it was great to do it. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you all some of these learnings. But before I jump into that, and I can always talk later to each of you who are more interested about my work, about what I do, and be more specific about the different projects that I'm involved in globally. But right now, I would like for us to have a second to check in with ourselves, and also to kind of check in and give peace and love to the people who are suffering right now. So I'd like for you all to have one little moment. Take a super deep breath, make sure it goes all the way into your body. And I want you to do a self-check for a second and witness where in your body you are sensing fear, anxiety, and I want you to keep releasing that air. Where are you feeling maybe some tension? And send some love and light to that direction in your body, in your mind, on your toes, wherever you're feeling the tension. And release. And now for a second, just give some thought to the many people who are suffering right now, and to our first responders. Thank you. Obviously, this would be something we have to do longer, but for today, for the interest of time, I just want you to do that self-check. And I want to start with sharing a little bit about why my career is so varied, so that you understand how important this is going to be for you right now. The rules in an emergency situation or humanitarian crisis always change. Basically, everything that you know goes out the window. And that means that we have to work to really understand what it is that I can do and what I have control over, and what are the basic needs that we all have as humans. And I'm seeing why my slides are not working here. Give me a second. Oh, there we are. So if you look at Maslow's laws of hierarchy, and some of you might have seen this throughout college, you understand that there's different things that we need. And early on in my career, I understood that coming from a background of family that had witnessed war, immigration, and just a slew of different other things that were traumatic, including in my self-experience, I knew that I needed to deal with my life differently. And I started with music as a form of healing. And at the same time, I was in college and I also had a business. But all of these things proved to be things that I needed outside of just like regular therapy for me to really bounce back out of all the different traumas and things that were impacting my life. So when you see these Maslow's laws of hierarchy, you really understand what's a priority. And right now, this is being tested. We all know we need to live and we need sustenance and we need our money and we need all these basic things. But you really start losing kind of interest on some of the very superficial things, and you'll start questioning yourself on that. So really, that's what happened for me in my work, is I really needed to go inside and instead of being external. And that's how I ended up working in all of these different areas, was it music, working as an advocate, because not only was I advocating for others, but I had to advocate for myself. And then taking all these learnings in and becoming a consultant and a strategist. Later on, I becoming a coach because I understood for myself that I needed a coach to keep me accountable to my new practices and learnings. And this is really where we're at right now. And I think, Faride, if you can give me a sign of time, for some reason I can't see the time here with the big slide, so just let me know when I'm at least 3 minutes in. Now, in terms of facts here, part of the UN Women Empower Women section is to understand how women play a role in the world and how we're impacted. And it is known that during times of crisis, where there's war or economic downfall, women tend to be the first ones to feel this pain, both financially and physically. And this also includes children and other underserved populations. And right now we're seeing a statistic that came out yesterday, is that 70% of first responders are women around the world. So what does that mean? Not only are they in the front lines, but it's impacting their families, but also financially if they're not getting paid enough. We know a lot of people who work in the grocery stores and the healthcare business are also being impacted right now. So this is something to consider in terms of the economic empowerment and impact, but also in the safety factor for all women and underserved populations. We are at risk and the numbers have gone up already for violence and different experiences. But with that comes opportunities. For us knowing that as managers, as business owners, as individuals, these are opportunities for us to do not only self-check-in like I asked you right now, but also to work with other populations and support, be it your staff, family members, or community. So before I go to that, I do want to go over a few things with you in terms of the process, because the question was, what are the best ways to cope? So we started with a self-check. And doing a self-check is a daily thing. And in fact, more than daily right now during an emergency, it's probably every few hours, depending on what's going on with your life. So if you're feeling, I always tell people when I'm working in de-escalation and violence protection situations, where do you feel anger or fear is entering your body? So automatically the body has a reaction. And sometimes it's, people tell me I get pressure in my chest. Others say they have a headache. They feel like they have to crunch their knuckles. Like you start having physical symptoms when something's not feeling right. So try to pay attention to your body because your body's telling you what's going on. The other thing is be very, very patient with yourself, because what you would probably normally not do, you would do right now. Example, 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I was doing a presentation and I dropped an entire glass of water on my laptop. Not right before I went on the presentation, and it's not something I would probably even have a glass of water next to me in other times, but I realized there that that was a moment for me to stop and recalculate and really check in what was going on. And what was going on is I was trying to do too much. And that's really something about understanding where you are. The second part is being aware of the trauma. If you've had trauma in the past or someone around you has other forms of trauma, or already we're dealing with depression and other things, when you lose all layers of safety and security of understanding like we are right now, this is really going to start questioning, and it may be kind of hiking up your anxieties and your different concerns. And one example is I have a counselor who works with domestic violence victims all the time, but she received a call about sexual abuse that day. And unfortunately for her, this really reacted in a negative way. And she said, I don't understand why. I would normally be able to take the call. The why is right now we're all in collective trauma. And that means we have to take the time for us to ensure that we're okay and that we're checking in and that we're speaking to other people, especially if you're like the head of household, if your family, or if you're like the firstborn American child here in the US and your family is immigrant and you're like taking on all these different things. If you're the mom, the mother, or just there's so much, or you're the boss, there's a lot going on and you need to do the self-check and you need to be able to talk to somebody. And again, check on that trauma. The other part is let go of expectations. We are not machines. Also let go of the judgment. The first thing that we do is I'm not doing enough. That's a very American way of doing things. And it's the little wins that are going to get us through if we understand that, instead of saying, I didn't do the 20 things that I did right now. But how many of you, show of hands, have been feeling really exhausted and maybe only accomplished 1 or 3 things a day? I'm going to say this. Right. So I was talking about collective trauma is in the air. If you think when you walk into a home or somewhere that someone just had an argument and you could just feel the tension, everybody says you could cut the tension in the air, exact same thing, only this time it's more because it's collective. So really finding that place to ground yourself and take care of yourself is critical, and to do these checkpoints throughout the days. The other part is safety. I talked about, and you see the stats on the screen there about the safety. We know domestic violence has hiked up. We know sexual abuse is an issue, definitely a lot of concerns around that. And just in general, the different anxieties and tensions that happen. So trying to understand that even as professional women, and I'm assuming the audience mostly is, sometimes we tend to think like we can take care of ourselves. We don't have a problem. We don't have to do this. But in reality it's actually the ones that don't speak. It's actually the therapists, the lawyers, the teachers I worry about the most, because they think they can handle it. And also out of fear and just kind of judgment, they don't want to speak out. And it is happening a lot, and it's putting not only their lives in danger but also their children and even their aggressors. One thing I didn't mention earlier is I've worked with aggressors, so I know how to de-escalate and talk with them, of course, when the person's not psychotic. But that's the one thing we have to be able to measure. Are we safe? Are we safe in our space? Are we creating a safe environment? If you are not, I thoroughly encourage you to stay in contact with someone and have a safety plan and have safety keywords. I've been telling some of my clients that do a lot of coaching, and of course there's a lot of safety risk around doing it online, to tell them to pretty much send them little hearts or little of different colors, a little design of different colors, so that we know the mood that people are in. And if we know a certain color we know means high risk, we're calling the police. So just really understanding what these safety plans are for you, if that's what you're going through. If you need to talk to somebody, I'll put some resources up right now on the screen. And we know that this is that time where we're going to need support. We know that there's a high risk of suicide. And we're talking about people in government all the way to just our local vendors here in the community selling tamales. I mean, anybody could be going through this. And in fact, in my classes around war and resistance and thriving, one thing that was said to me that really stuck was this: it is not the people who have the more weapons and money who win the war. It is the people who have most resistance to pain. And right now, if you are not used to having this kind of loss and pain, it could absolutely cause you a lot of challenges. And I think for all of us here in this space, just know that we do need assistance. These are some numbers where you can call. These are national phone line numbers, but if you need to reach out and I can give you something local, I'm happy to help out and do that. And then the other part is some of my other projects I'm working on around economic empowerment. We are going to be talking about the financial impact and working with the UN on some of these tools and resources. So I do invite you all to participate. I will be giving individual coaching, which I don't do anymore as much, but considering what's going on right now, I feel like a lot of professionals are going to need it, and they're leading teams, and I want to make sure that they're feeling in such a way where they can support others, because we really can't help others if we're not helping ourselves. And I can share these slides at the end again. So to move on, let me see what's happening on here on my screen. Can you still see there? Give me a second here. All right. One thing I didn't share with you is that, and I meant to say this at the beginning, I had 3 near-death experiences due to health issues. It's called polycystic ovarian syndrome. It impacts 1 of 8 women around the world, and it has to do with hormonal imbalance. But for me, it really put me near my deathbed 3 different times. And it destroyed the way I thought I was living my life, my business, my activist work, everything that I was doing. I couldn't perform anymore. And it really challenged me to have to restart and reboot so many different times and really rethink everything that I knew was true. So for you all that are in the professions of and are professionals or have businesses, male or female, doesn't matter. Really think about what this is for you. This is a true time of transformation. This is not just change, because change sometimes, people say, well, I'm going to make this change, but they revert right back. Transformation is you don't go back. You have no choice. women and people who have been in spaces of war have to find a way to recalibrate their space. And I started earlier talking about music and art and creativity and having outlets. Women in spaces of war have been known that when they were sent to the caves in the caves of Algiers, some of the women, that all they did was dance because that's how they released. And that is a critical thing for us to remember. There's things that we have to reinvent ourselves, and the only thing we have control of is ourselves. And in that transformation in my life, I had to decide, well, am I going to be able to keep working? Is insurance going to pay for my stuff? Not likely. So I had to restructure my business to be completely digital. And that's kind of the stuff that I've been using right now to teach women around the world how to do their business, but more now than ever. And here are the 5 R's, and they actually speak about this in a book called Latina Empowerment Through Leadership. I'll go ahead and put this a link as well for you all. I do have a chapter there where I'm talking about how close I was always to death and what it really meant for me to be able to change and transform in my life. And right now, in these 3 R's of transformation, I'll talk about how you reevaluate. If the challenge keeps coming back for you, it means it's something you have to reevaluate. In my case, it was like the health part and really changing and applying what I had learned. If you really reevaluate it, it's time to recalculate and really take that data and knowledge that you learned each time. And right now this is going to happen. And I said earlier, little wins. So every time you have a little win, celebrate. But every time you miss, go ahead and really keep on understanding what are the different points of what didn't work, and go ahead and set that up again for yourself. And this means emotionally, daily activities, as well as your business. Reboot. R1 and R2 are difficult to do. They drain the life out of you because you think you're taking action, but sometimes you're always taking a step back to do things, and you get drained. So this is the time to really go inside and meditate again, and really give yourself some time to even just sleep. I think sometimes we overrate this whole busyness thing, and we don't want to take the time to sleep. And the next part is rebirth. And in Spanish, you all know a dar luz. This is the next part. Once you've done these 3 first steps of it's time to really bring that light out. What have you learned from all these 3 times that you've tried something over and over? And really share some of that. And this is where the real creativity comes through. And if you're working on your mental health, it's the exact same thing. You can go to therapy, you could be working different areas of what this is causing in you, but you're still going to have to keep going back. And then the last part is to relaunch. And that means when you have a full new model of how you're going to do things, and then hopefully, you go back and you really, really kick some butt when you do this. But always know that you can always go back through this cycle again. Mental health is one of those things that you constantly need to be working on, but also in your life when you're reinventing yourself. And to go ahead and wrap up, I am going to go ahead and just share with you a few things. Remember to stay centered and aligned. And that may mean a lot of different activities. It may mean that you have to get up first thing in the morning before everybody else does. You have to create a safe space where you feel comfortable and you can work. Maybe it's, doing some aromatherapy bath, whatever feels good to you. Because in whatever work I've done in crisis, whether it be a family who's having abuse issues, or I'm talking to refugees at the border after a war, there is nothing we have control over but ourselves, and what you're feeding to your mind, and what you're feeding to your body, and what you're doing every step of the way. And sometimes the decision is to just take a nap. And that's really all that we can do at this point in time, is take baby steps and relax, reboot, and follow these 5 R's. There's more details to this, but obviously we don't have the time. But thank you so much. Please stay positive.
So much. Yes, thank you so much, Roxana. And how can our audience get a hold of you? They need a little bit more help from you.
Yes, they can add me on Facebook, or that's my email directly right now, and I can always send you that other slide so you can share with everybody with the resources as well.
So at Roxanne Damas, or rdamas at diversityrd.com, you guys. Yes. So thank you so much, Roxana. Stay behind in case somebody has a question for you at the end. You're able to participate. So everybody who's watching, that self-check to me made total sense. because we do go day by day trying to make everything happen, right? Especially as moms, especially as professional women that think we got it out of control, under control. And you are absolutely right. That hit home for me because I'm the one that has it put together. I'm the one that tries to hold it together. And sometimes we're not courageous enough to speak that we, in fact, are going through a lot of doubts ourselves and a lot of, mental health pokes. We may be in control. So thank you so much for telling us that. And don't forget the domestic violence line for all of you guys watching is 1-800-799-7233. A lot of us that are married or have a partner or even with our own children that are, we're going through something like that, we need to know that there is lines out there that are willing to help, and you don't need to talk much. The mental health number was 1-800-950-6264. So thank you so much, Roxana. Now next, obviously she's an in-house speaker for us in our organization. She is one of the dearest friends that is always ready to be on call and help each other. And so without further ado, a person that's coming to now help us in the department of estate planning, family planning, business planning, anything to do with that, you guys, I can't wait for you to hear. This is my good friend, Viviana Oropeza, and we'll let her, I'm gonna also, Viviana, make you a presenter now. So as soon as you get that, but you start talking.
Hi, everybody. I am Viviana Oropeza, and I am a business and estate planning attorney. And I'm sure some of you guys have seen me online. I'm going to share my screen right now with you guys. I run attorneyinheels.com, which is my business and estate planning law firm that I created. And what I do is I try to help businesses build, restructure, and families plan for the unknowns. So if there was ever a time that businesses and families need help, is now. When this first happened, the pandemic was first started to be talked about, I kind of felt a little slimy to start targeting people and be like, oh, this coronavirus is going to get you, therefore you have to be ready. Get your will, get your estate planning done. And although it feels that way, it's also on me if I drop the ball and I don't provide you guys with the resources to survive this entire thing, because as we know, there's so many unknowns right now. The numbers are increasing, obviously it's, at least not in my lifetime, I've never had to, be quarantined in my home indefinitely. I have been through a couple of recessions. Actually, I was in the financial services industry when we got hit with the 2008-2009 recession. But there's a lot of unknowns right now. So my goal is to provide you guys with some resources so that for business owners specifically to survive what is right now not knowing if you're going to be able to keep going. Obviously, for a lot of businesses, not being able to have people come to their place of businesses for all the brick and mortars is affecting them. They, don't know if they're going to keep their doors open. They have to sometimes let go of their employees. So what I've done over the last several weeks is I've done a lot of research. I've talked with a lot of different people in the industry, and I've put together a resource page on my website where you could, for small businesses, I did a blog with links to everything related to the different types of federal, state, and local agencies that can provide you with, there's the SBA paycheck loans, there's Q&As for people who need to figure out how they're going to pay their employees sick leave if they're out due to the coronavirus. Different sources. I know that the city of San Diego, specifically for those of you who are local, has released about $6.1 million in an emergency fund for businesses to help them stay afloat as they're going through this. And in that page, I have a lot of different resources. So if you go to my website, which is attorneyinheels.com, I'll put that for you guys in the chat. So if anybody needs the link to that, you can get there. And if you go to my blog, the first blog that's going to come up is going to say small business. If you click on that, I have a short snippet about what's going on, and then I have links to all the different agencies that have provided information, links to small business loans, links to different sources where small businesses can get some form of assistance so that they can keep going in these unknown, uncharted waters. So I have here links to the California Employment Development Department, to the South County Economic Development Department, which provides a zero interest loan for restaurants. The City of San Diego's Business Relief Fund, like I was telling you guys, they released about $6.1 million to help businesses. The state of California has also issued a moratorium on evictions, and all that means is landlords aren't allowed to evict you for non-payment due to coronavirus reasons. And this, the governor's signature on that really is just saying, I allow the different local areas to pass their own laws pertaining to this moratorium. So for each and every, county or unincorporated areas, the different local governments have to pass their own law as to how they're going to regulate these evictions. So for anyone who needs to know more information about that, I put that in there, and then there'll be links to different counties and different areas throughout the state of California that have provided the moratorium relief. And then there's also, I put a link also to the Small Business Administration's disaster relief and the SBA Paycheck Protection Program. The SBA Paycheck Protection Program is a loan to continue paying your employees so that you can actually keep going. So, and then for families with all of this unknown times, I have provided here a resource also on my web page. It's the statutory forms, and all that really is the basic estate planning forms that you can put in place to get you basic estate planning. And that it doesn't suffice for everyone, because in order to prevent probate, depends on how much you have in assets, if you own real estate, there's a lot of different moving parts. And there's also, if you have children, you also want to put a lot of different other measures in place to protect you. But these are the basic forms. If you have absolutely nothing in place and you just need a resource to get something in place, because obviously a lot of people are getting sick, some people are dying, and maybe you won't get coronavirus, maybe you won't die, and that's perfectly fine. I hope that none of you do. And all this really is it gives you peace of mind more than anything else. It helps you feel a little bit more at ease and go to sleep at night knowing that if something were to happen, you have something in place. Better than nothing, right? Because if you don't put a plan in place, then the state of California has one for you. Just know that. And that's what we call probate. So if you click here at where it says click to get, that's where you can get access to the statutory forms. You put in an email and a name, and I send you a link with the emails. And this is basically what they look like. They're just, you fill in boxes. You have to be very careful about executing them. If you have questions about that, please reach out to me, because there are some things that are required in order for these documents to be made legal. Specifically, certain documents required to witnesses, others require that they be notarized. So it's really important to, pay attention what is required for these documents to be put in place. So those are the resources that I have in place for businesses and for families. I have a ton more information that I would love to share with you guys. I'm going to start putting it on a resource link on my page, but this is just what I wanted to share with you to give you like a basic snapshot of what I do and If there's anything I can do to help, you can also click right here where it says book a 15-minute call. It'll give you access to my calendar to get in touch with me if you want to talk to me about any of this, and I'll make myself available. And that's it. I'm gonna let whomever else is
Thank
next.
you so much, Viviana. As usual, you always bring us so much light. I can't help just acknowledge the fact that, we're all kind of working from home now and we all have our own challenges. You're a mother of a child, an angel that is probably a handful at this point.
Yes,
I do know.
I have a 4-year-old with autism and ADHD, and he's definitely jumping off the walls. He has been banging on the door a couple times here. I know you can't hear him because I'm on the small mic, but yeah, it's definitely a challenge for all of us trying to keep our businesses going, especially working from home. And I'm sure you all have your challenges.
Absolutely. And through those challenges, you've been working on putting this blog together. So on behalf of all the women, that are watching us and will be watching this recording, I do want to thank you. We do appreciate what every single one of you are doing here. And just to make it clear, none of us are getting paid to do this. This is absolutely free. It comes from our professionalism and our love to help others. So I hope that everybody else that needs at any point, any services that are being shared here today, that the first people that you think of is these professionals that are taking an hour from their families to be here helping one another. So I did want to say that. Well, and again, here we go. I'm bringing to you 2 amazing stories, quick stories, for all of you who might be going through certain things. And I wanted to talk to some real people, not necessarily, I mean, they're both professional, but I wanted to speak about, what's going on. She's actually one of the agents from my company, Expert Agents, and Wealth Wave. And she is in financial services and has other professions as well. But I want to bring her on. I'm going to bring 2 speakers real quick. One of them is pregnant. She's 38 or 36. She'll tell you more. Totally pregnant. We were talking about how she was dealing with this while all this was going on. And she was sharing some information that is worth sharing it with everybody else. So if you have anybody who's pregnant, you better log into my Facebook because we're going live. You can share it at Faride Sisniega. You can share this live. So they're about to hear from another pregnant girl, another pregnant professional, another pregnant wife, and they need to hear it. The second speaker that's going to come right after her is somebody who is a professional in the medical industry. She's actually a pharmacist. She is on the front lines fighting this COVID-19 disaster and has to leave home every day while her family stays behind. And I wanted everybody to hear her side of the story to see if maybe we reach 1 or 2 people that can actually get some help through them. So first one is Susy Martinez de Mata, if you're Hispanic. And the next one will be Yvonne Plowman, following Susy right away. So Susy, take it away. Go ahead and tell us who you are.
Well, first of all, thank you, Praveed, for the introduction and for putting this together. I am Susy Mata, and I am 38 weeks pregnant. This is baby. I don't know if y'all can see. This is Noé, and this is a little corner we have set up for him. I actually had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I am now 3 centimeters dilated. So anytime now. This is my first baby. And it has been an amazing experience despite of COVID-19. Unfortunately, the hospital now has a policy where there are no visitors allowed, so my family won't be able to visit. But I will be allowed to have 1 support person, and I really wanted my mom to be there, but I'm really I'm blessed and thankful that I have an amazing husband that's going to be there cheering for me every step of the way. We are taking every precaution possible to keep baby safe and our family safe at home and whenever we have to go outside for groceries and stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, stress has gotten to me a couple of times, but definitely I'm trying to stay positive and optimistic with all of this. We are making the best out of the situation, and this is my rainbow baby, our rainbow baby, and I keep repeating to myself, that this is God's plan and not mine. And He's bringing this baby into this crazy world during these crazy times for a purpose. So we actually had our baby shower a week before they declare state of emergency. So we were able to get tons of wipes and diapers before they all clear out the stores. I also started my disability the day that they declared state of emergency. So staying home was already planned, so everything's working out one way or another. Staying home has been actually great. I've been with my husband preparing for baby. I've been nesting like crazy, which I like to call it COVID nesting, because I've been spraying Lysol everywhere. I've been a little bit more active on social media, which can be a pro and a con, because yeah, lots of people somehow love to engage in a lot of negativity, and I understand it's important to stay cautious and aware of what's going on, but it's also really important not to give in into the fear and to remember the good things and the blessings we still have. Um, my husband and I, we are very grateful for the financial service business we are in because we are allowed to work from home. We are allowed to continue with the mission we both have, which is to help families with their finances, especially during these times of uncertainty. At least we can provide some help with that, and of course, make a little bit of extra money on that. And also, we are very grateful to be able to work with successful people like Faride and Jorge, people who, um, no matter what, they won't settle for less than living their dreams, no matter what's thrown at them. And those are the kind of people we like to surround ourselves with. Because one thing's for sure, we want our baby to have a wonderful future, and he will have a wonderful future, because we also don't settle for anything less than our dreams. And um, we know that, like I mentioned, there will be a future, and at the end of this storm, our little rainbow is going to be there looking up to Mama and Papa and all the people that bounce back, all the wonderful, amazing, powerful women like you who come together and collaborate and support one another, um, despite whatever's thrown at them. And of course, we are the kind of people that choose faith over fear. And yeah, that's my time. And if anybody needs any help coping, and you guys know of any pregnant woman that need help that need to talk to somebody that's in their same situation, I'm gonna go ahead and share my contact information on the message box. And again, thank you, Faride, for putting this together, and everybody stay safe and God bless you all.
Thank you, Susy.
Thank you guys.
So we're waiting for Yvonne.
Yes.
Let me see, Yvonne.
Hello?
There we go. Take it away, Yvonne.
Yes, it's Susie. Hello, my name's Yvonne, and I just want to tell you, Susie, he's meant to come to this world. He's a blessing. He's a gift. I wanted to add to that.
You have no camera on, Yvonne. Just
Hold on. I'm coming.
We want to see you.
Okay, I'm attempting. Okay, I'm working on it. It's
All right.
it's still doing. But Susie, I was I just wanted to add to that. I was pregnant with our baby girl, who is now a senior. I was pregnant with her when 9/11 happened, and I too thought, what is going on? What am I bringing my girl to this world? But you know what? She was meant to come to this world. She is a toughie. It's her senior year, and I think I'm having more of a problem with it. She's showing me that everything's going to be fine. She is going to be, and she is a powerful woman. And so I just want to tell you, Susy, he's meant to be here as a gift. Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
yes. Um, as Faride said, my name's Yvonne, and I am a pharmacist. I've been in this trade for about 28 years now. So I do have to say I'm used to seeing change, specifically in the health field, because if health field isn't changing, then it's not a good thing. And the one thing I have learned in health field, which is also being brought back to my life and all our lives, is that change is inevitable. It's something that it's going to happen, and you have the choice to, move with it or not. And I'm just thankful to see the changes that happen in health field. But right now it is moving in rapid speed. I see it in the organization I'm at. I am going to work every day. I am a pharmacist that's on the phone predominantly 90% of the time with the patients. And right now I'm talking to them about the importance of their medications. I always do this, but specifically now, it's real important for us to be taking care of our health, because in this type of anxiousness, we tend to let go of things for us that are important. Um, but it's very important to be, taking the medications that we should be taking and ought to be taking. My patients right now, when I talk to them, are so appreciative. Yes, I do talk to some that are very upset and angry, and rightly so. But for the majority, they're all very appreciative. They're asking the right questions, and I've always been one to stand for families and to be of service um, for everyone. And this is definitely, even though yes, I'm not going to lie, I do get anxious. I do have to do my checkpoints. Um, but I know this is where I need to be at right now with the patients, and be ready to whatever the organization needs me to do, which is the same thing with our families, be ready to do what needs to be done. And what I am enjoying to see is more the positive things of everyone being united, everyone being together, everyone really reaching out for everyone, because we're quarantined. A lot of people are quarantined, so I do get to go out though and go and work with our public and our physicians and our nurses. They've been incredible. They are incredible. And yeah, I am also an agent with Faride, and I want to thank both Faride and Jorge. They are just great mentors and leaders, and just continue to, this isn't a setback. This is something that we're always in service for our patients and our members, and you know, knowing that this is important to do their finances too. And just like Vivian also talked about, Viviana, about your will. um, I love Roxana with the mental checks. It's so important. And that is something that I've been doing for myself, and I wanted to just share with you. I have been getting anxious at times, but that's when I step back and reflect, and what is it that I have not been doing for myself? Because if I'm not taking care of myself, then I'm not good for anyone. And my priority is to take, for everyone. So I need to take care of myself. So it's the meditation, it's the reflection of reading, it's it's the aromatherapies, the candles, just to keep going. So I'm here for all of you. Any questions you may have on your medications, and or just anything about COVID, I don't want to keep going on, but thank you for having me on, Faride. And my contact is ytplowman@gmail.com.
Thank you so much, ladies. That was phenomenal. Susy, I have to say, you almost brought me into tears. You know, I could see that fear, part of you staying strong and part of you being just such a, such a strong pregnant person. I could not imagine going through what you're going through right at this time. So again, thank you so much. These are two ladies that I have the privilege of working hand in hand and mentoring them. I know they're going through, a lot of things that scare people. And then Yvonne, I could only imagine if I had to be having to go every day to work and leaving my kids,
Yeah.
inside the house 24 hours. Like I could
Yeah.
not imagine having to do that. So the privilege of being able to stay home is absolutely phenomenal for a lot of us. So I know that we have our health and fitness guest. I'm not sure why she's not logged in. Lucy, if you are logged in, let me know who you are because I cannot identify you. Open up your camera so you can come up online. If you are on a phone and don't have a camera, could you please speak up and mute yourself? All right. So for the sake of time, we're going to keep this rolling. I do have a quick presentation to give you. My subject, of course, is always in finances, right? So as we're all kind of going crazy here, we want to make sure that, and this was consistently the same message that I heard with our professionals, kind of telling you to take the reins, right? To stay the course, to self-check, to maintain yourself informed. Well, it's very hard to maintain yourself informed when you know that half of the stuff is just bad information, right? So the one thing I do want to share with you is that you want to maintain your information coming from the resources that are straight from the horse's mouth, kind of how we always talk about it, right? If I want to know anything about small business loans, I'm not going to go ask my neighbor or my mom or my sister. I'm going to go straight to the small business loan website. Now, these professionals have made it very, very easy for you. You can go to the blog that Viviana has and get that link right off her page. So she's trying to help you, lead you to the horse's mouth or the lake with the water if you're thirsty. So make sure that you do that. If you want to know more about your specific county, then go to the county's website. I know I live in San Diego County, so if I want to know anything in regards to my own personal stuff, I go to the San Diego County, website, and they will have the best information for you. So what I'd like to share with you today, now 1 second, is I'm not going to share my screen until I have it. So if you guys remember, so we've been through situations like this in the past where we've had to kind of be reborn, I would say, to kind of force ourselves to revamp ourselves and to form of what we're doing. When we were going, you guys can remember 9/11. 2001, what happened in 9/11? That was in 2001, correct? 9/11 never allow us to live the same way that we lived before. There was a lot of things that came into place in the banking world. I know I was already involved in the banking world, and there was a lot of things as an employee we had to accommodate to and change. And then there was a lot of things that the public had to accommodate. My family, right? I remember crossing the border, going to visit my resident in Mexico and crossing the border and just saying, you know, whatever, I'm a resident or I'm an American citizen or whatever, and they that's again, and I rebirth was one and this moment, which was second. The economic situation happened, which was in 2008. A lot of us lost our businesses. A lot of us lost our jobs. A lot of us lost a lot of things. The real estate curve made us lose our homes. There was just so much chaos going on. The difference now is that we have two epidemics hitting us all at once, right? We have the health epidemic, and then we have our finances epidemic. So it's hard. It's hard. Has anybody ever experienced being locked down in your own home? I mean, that's inside your nature. We have to change the way we see our future. So the moment that we are ready to get out of this situation, you know, we have to be prepared. How are we to respond to what's going on? How are we going to respond to that rebirth that, you know, Roxana shared with us, or that be prepared or prepare better, that estate planning that Viviana shared with us, right? How are we going to prepare with that? So I want to share with you, obviously, just a little bit of how a financial advisor or a financial planning or anything that has to do with finances, if you are worried is in the financial side of things, if maybe you are not going to get hit with a family member having the virus, or if you're not, you know, if you're going to continue to be healthy, if you're going to continue to do everything, if your mental health is going to stay strong, but the finances is the part that you're going to be suffering on, then I want to tell you that there is a common formula that every single one of these situations, in 2001 with the 9/11, in 2008 with our market crash, and in 2009 with the swine flu, if every single one of those situations has a common denominator, and the common denominator for that is, I'm going to use, this is vile, right? And I'm going to say that, and it may not make any sense to you what this means, but I want you to take a note on this because it comes so true to what we're living today. And if I can share with you, and if I can transfer the passion in my heart to teach you and show you this, this is vile. This is a vile moment, and you need to take control of it. You cannot let fear take over you in this time. This is where we know what every single one of us is made out of. And what I mean by that, I will share it in a moment. So I'm going to keep you with that curiosity going, right? The first thing you got to do is plan. If you hear me every night in your head talking about planning, this is what I'm talking about, okay? We all know that this situation is out of our hands. We cannot control it. But what we can control is what comes out of this, okay? So number one thing you got to do is you got to schedule your payments. We already know that all these forgiveness plans and us not being able to pay our mortgage payments or our rents and everything, it's not something that is going to go away like a magic wand. This is something that they have to respect, and they have to give us, you know, they can't charge us any late fees, they can't evict us, they can't do any of that, but it will be there at the end. So you want to make sure that you're able to schedule that. Maybe schedule it little by little as you get back and come back from this and do your bounce back and rebound from this situation. But you want to make sure, the other thing is that you keep your benefits, guys. You do not want to get all scared and think that you need to quit your job and you need to change careers or anything like that and lose your benefits. Every single one of you guys who has benefits right now, you need to maintain those benefits and make sure that your benefits are being utilized. If you have an attorney service, make sure that you do your estate planning or call Viviana. If you have, you know, medical, make sure, and you can see somebody like Roxana or somebody, or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, make sure that you're utilizing your benefits. Then apply for help. Apply for any extension. You know, I have to say, I called T-Mobile and they were wonderful. I have to give them a shout out because they were so understanding of what's going on and said, Mrs. Sisniega, do not worry. You do not have to pay your bill if you can't until May 20th. And I was so grateful to them because you know what? Even if I can send them $10, $20, $50, I'm still going to continue to make my scheduled payments. But if I can't, and my children need to eat first, I know that they worked with me. So don't be afraid whether you're a 6 or 7 figure earner, and make sure that you call all your providers and at least get those extensions going. You know, financial planning, you may need our services. You may need somebody like me, somebody like Susy, somebody like Yvonne to help you plan ahead in your financial services. Maybe somebody who invited you to do, you know, to be here in this webinar, whoever invited you, and it's in the financial services industry, make sure that you get with them. They have resources that you don't have. They have the resources to show you what it is to put a plan together, what it is to budget, what it is to manage your debt and plan ahead. We'll worry about investing and saving for our future and creating wealth later. But right now, this situation has forced us to reinvent ourselves and plan ahead. The one thing I tell you I'm going to do in the future is, if I before was saving 3 months worth of my, you know, expenses, now I'm going to start saving 1 year worth of my expenses, right? Until the next event that makes us stretch ourselves and do it. So if you need a financial professional to help you, obviously WealthWave agents and expert agents are here to help. Expertagents.com, wealthwave.com, wealthwaveandespanol.com. I can go on for days. You guys know how to reach me, or at Faride Sisniega on Facebook, or Sisniega Faride on Instagram. But adjust to the new habits, you guys. You know, I want you to take a moment and think, what if this is going to be prolonged for more than just the 30th of April? What's going to happen if we need to stay inside? I don't know about you, but I don't care how strong I am. It makes me scared that in one day we doubled in numbers and deaths. And the only way that we're going to prevent this is for us to stop going to places where we see other people. We don't know where they've been. We don't know what they've been, you know, exposed to. You know, you all know I'm single, and you know, I do dating and stuff like that. And I have dating opportunities to go on a date and things like that. And I refuse to do it because you do not know what those people have been exposed to. And so please be careful, stay at home, plan ahead, adjust your habits, and do whatever it takes for you to be the solution and not part of the problem. Also, with this note, and I'm going to leave you with this is vile, right? What do I mean by that? Is that out of every adversity comes opportunity. And this is vile. All it means is that virus is a lesson. This virus is a lesson, right? So this is vile. I want you guys to adopt that word until we are safe and on the other side. I want you guys to always know that professionals such as Viviana, Roxana, myself, and a lot of other professionals are here to help. We may have 25% more leadership capacity or things to reinvent. Reach out to us, guys. You ladies are not alone. We want to make sure that we help you. And remember, this is vile. This virus is a lesson. So whatever comes out of this, you should come out a winner. You should come out better than when you started. So I'm going to leave it to questions and answers. We are right on time. I am so glad. If you guys have any questions, I see a lot of people texting. Thank you, Roxana. I'm kind of maneuvering like 3 or 4 things all at the same time. And I just want to make sure that you guys this is going to be a recording. We have Rose Rugama, who's a senior specialist helping seniors and families downsize their lives. And so, she's one of our guests listening to this. So Rose, thank you so much for being on this WeChat. We want to make sure that everybody knows the life will go on after this. If you guys do not plan, what are you doing today to make this better? Is the only thing you're doing worrying and being afraid and eating all the things on your refrigerator? If that's what you're doing, you are wasting this opportunity, this lesson that we are being faced with. So make sure that you know how to reach other professionals. Make sure that you know that we are here to help. We are maybe, like I said, a little bit more geared to answering your questions. If you need to reach out to Roxana, please reach out to her at rdamas@diversityrd.com. If you need to reach out to Viviana, attorneyandheals.com. If you need to reach out to one of the professionals that share this with you, do not do this alone. We're going to be back here on the 15th of April. We're going to have other professionals. We're going to have other things and pointers and what to do. If you feel you can bring something to the table and have something to give back to our community, plug into this mission, plug into this plan of bouncing back. We want to make sure that you guys all have the opportunity to speak your minds and share your stories. Reach out to me. Let me know that you are, the next time we come around. I know Lucy, our nutrition and fitness expert, had some network issues, and she'll be on the next time. So on the 15th of this month at 6 p.m., we will have this again. This time, I know we had about 20 plus guests on here. Hopefully we can double that. You found some good insights. Again, all we're trying to do is help one another come out of this crisis. And why not? If you can read a new book, if you can reinvent yourself, if you can have a rebirth, this is the time. You will never find this time for yourself to rebirth. And one last message before we go. If you have an opportunity to be mean to others, do not. Do not be mean to others. You guys, we already have enough bad things going on in our lives. We already have so many negative things going on in our lives. Let's not take this time to be mean with one good messages. If you have the another, let's, you know, step power to help somebody, help people. This is going to come back 10 times fold. And with that, I know it's going to come back bad and good. So if you're doing something mean-spirited, if you're doing something to hurt others just because you have no patience, I want you to know karma will come and haunt you. And this is the time to be good with one another and help. You know, go to your neighbor on the left, your neighbor on the right, your neighbor forward and your neighbor back, and drop off a little note saying, if you need something, come to me. I guarantee you will all come out of this in great expectations and triumph, and with our heads high, knowing that this time that we're secluded in our homes and we should be staying home, that we are going to come out winners, maybe with new friendships, cyber friendships, right? And just come out winners, you guys. I love you all. Thank you for participating in this awesome event. First time ever, rebound event, bounce back. And I'll see you guys on the 15th, 6 p.m. on the 15th. Thank you so much. You professional women, let me know if you want to participate.